Hey, how are you? I am Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Team Riser Fall to talk some Thursday night football. The Tennessee Titans head to Green Bay to take on the Packers in what should be, a little bit more fun for Thursday night football than it has in weeks past. Before I get into that and the point spreads and Green Bay being -3, Tennessee getting 3 points even after winning 6 games in a row, over-unders at 41, and so I just got to it, right? But before we get into players, pricing, and some projections, make sure you go to the website at Team Riser Fall. When you get there, use promo code Beastie, the Beastie key, or however a key sounds in the door, and you'll get $10 off your first month of premium services, and that includes everything: stacks, cores, coaches help, right, and tabs, red zone tabs, high upside red zone target tabs. That's what I was saying. And in the Discord, which is free, you get a little bit of access. There's coaches that go live about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock in all the sports. Basketball is hot right now, NHL is running, and we still have football. Week 11 kicks off tonight. How crazy is that? Let's talk about the football game, shall we? As I said, going to grab my notes. We're going to get serious. We're going to pound this thing out in like 8 minutes, I promise you. We know that's not going to happen, but hey, here we are. When we talk about this with Tennessee at Green Bay, right now, Green Bay is -3 points at home, and it's not really a head scratcher. That's what I was doing here. But when you look at what's been going on with Tennessee, they've won 6 games in a row, 6 of their last 7. Tennessee is 6-3 right now, and I believe they sit atop of the AFC South division by a game and a half. And when you look at Green Bay, they haven't been able to muster much offense at all. We saw the rookie go nuts, have his coming out party last week, scoring 3 times, but that seems more like an anomaly than something we can really, batten down the hatches and go, Christian Watson, he's a start every week. He is now viable as a wide receiver 1. I don't see that. How can I put this? I expect him to play well now. The confidence is rolling, and sometimes with a rookie, all it takes is that one game, one pass, one catch, however it is, and boom, the skill set is off and running. Well, obviously, it's not fair, or it's not true that Watson is going to score multiple touchdowns a game here on out, but I would say the probability is a little bit higher than it was leading up to last week's game. And so as we go from there, Green Bay, again, hosting Tennessee, they're -3 points, and it is a head-scratcher when we look at this thing. Let's start with the quarterback, shall we? Ryan Tannehill is in Green Bay, that I've said for the 17th time. Green Bay is very stout against quarterbacks, and as we get through the video, Green Bay in general is stingy on defense, not only against quarterbacks, but against wide receivers, too. Their secondary has been something else. So Ryan Tannehill, $14,000 on FanDuel, 9.6 on DK, and he's $21 on Yahoo. I have Ryan Tannehill. We know the name of the game here. It's just give the ball to Henry, eat the clock, score some points, eat yardage, and we go home. Right now, Tannehill, 17 to 18 completions, about 190 yards passing, and a couple carries for 15 yards. I do have Tannehill to score a touchdown or to throw a touchdown. It's just which way is he going to go? I have Tennessee, to score a couple times. Won't give you the final score until the end here, but Ryan Tannehill will be accountable for 1 touchdown. At those price tags, I think we can look elsewhere. This is a game where, again, haven't talked about Aaron Rodgers yet, but I do feel is that I would feel comfortable fading Ryan Tannehill. Aaron Rodgers at home, coming off of a win and all those interviews and stuff, not so much. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. Tennessee is 28th overall against opposing quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers is $15,000 on FanDuel, 10.4 on DK, and he's $26 on Yahoo. When you look at Aaron Rodgers, 20 to 21 completions, about 230 yards, 225 to 230 in this one. A carrier too, he likes to move the sticks every once in a while on a 3rd and long, 3rd and 8 or something, and he'll take off. So give Aaron Rodgers about 8 to 10 yards on the ground. When you look at Aaron Rodgers here, historically, and I think I'm okay if you give me the pass, the go-ahead to speak about Green Bay and just the NFC North in general, because that's where I've sunk my teeth in since the day I was born here. Aaron Rodgers, when a team like this, Green Bay in general, and even Aaron Rodgers, something will break loose in their head, or something will break loose for an offensive position, right? Or the offensive coordinator here, and they won last week. They beat Dallas in overtime, and was this that kick in the stomach, that punch in the face they needed to get off and rolling, off and running? Because as it stands right now, yes, the Vikings are or have they already ran away with the NFC North, sitting atop that sucker, but between the Packers and the Lions. And even the Bears, they're all jostling for a wild card position. And I think it's not crazy to start talking playoffs, 11 weeks at the start of 11 weeks into the season here. But again, everything I've done in my life and talking about football, you never can count out the Green Bay Packers. Do I like them? Absolutely not. Do I hate them? Absolutely not. But the Green Bay Packers, they're never out of it. They're never gone, done, and out of it. So Aaron Rodgers tonight, this game will be a measuring stick. And to be fair, if they win this game, they're off and running again, and they're going to put something together. That's just my personal opinion. That's just my thought. Has no bearing on the DFS slate, but I wanted to get that off my chest. When we look at the running backs here, Derrick Henry, stud, right? Green Bay, 19th overall against opposing running backs. And again, Derrick Henry, $17,000 on FanDuel, most expensive player on the slate, rightfully so. King Henry, 11.6 on DK, $37 on Yahoo. DSTs don't matter to this guy. They shouldn't matter to us as fantasy players, but I have Derrick Henry, 25 plus carries, right? 110 yards. That's a kind of a floor, right? I believe last time out, that was Saquon who had 35 total carries. I'm thinking Derrick Henry might get to that echelon here at least today. 110 yards, couple receptions. He's not a big receiving back, but when you look at that, another 10 to 15 yards. So Derrick Henry highlighted. You can make a line without him if you're going to max enter, but if you're only putting together 4 or 5 lines, or just call it 5 to 10, Derrick Henry needs to be in 90% of those because again, he's just going to take the ball and smash. Last week out, he didn't get 100 yards, and he's probably, pissed, lamenting. He's probably so upset, so they're going to hand him the ball a ton. Dontrell Hilliard, I think he has a role to play, but $7,000 on FanDuel, 3.2 on DK. Looking at 3-4 carries, nothing crazy. Hilliard is just around, on second and short, something like that, when they can really get over on the opposing team. So Hilliard, not much of an issue here. Aaron Jones, he is questionable, and so far, Tennessee 4th overall against opposing running backs. So when you look at Aaron Jones, 14.5 on FanDuel, 11.2 on DK, and $22 on Yahoo. When you look at Aaron Jones, this one screams to me, a Green Bay tight end game like Robert Tonyan, and we'll get to him, but also just an Aaron Jones kind of game where they just pound the rock, and he has, some very good plays early on in this game, like chunk yardages, and Aaron Jones, jumps out to like 45 to 50 yards in the first half, and then for some odd reason, we don't see him later on in the game, and people are going to be texting and tweeting, where's Aaron Jones? Is he all right? What happened to Aaron Jones? But again, don't let that deter you away from the potential output from Aaron Jones. 18 carries, 75 or 80 yards in this one, and a couple receptions for another 20 to 25 yards. When we look at A.J. Dillon, not much going on. 9 to 10 carries, 35 to 40 yards, a couple receptions for an additional 10 to 12 yards. That is all well and good on Yahoo because he's $13. The minimum price is $10 on Yahoo. And even on DraftKings, it's acceptable at $6,600. But on FanDuel, no how, no way. He is $12,000, flat, right? And that's a ton of money for a guy only going to get a handful of carries in this one. When we look at the wide receivers, I'm going to put all the Tennessee wide receivers in the same lump here. Robert Woods, Treylon Burks, Nick Westbrook-Akine, and even Cody Hollister here. When we look at this, Green Bay's 10th overall against opposing wide receivers, and they are the definition of stingy against wide receivers. And when we look at Robert Woods and Treylon Burks and even Nick Westbrook-Akine, who scored 3 times last week, that was an anomaly, kind of like Watson here. But of the two, I think Watson can sustain. But I'll get back to the Tennessee wide receivers here. That position, we've had the same conversations all over social media about the Kansas City Chiefs running backs, right? Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jet McKinnick, Isaiah Pacheco. There's a certain positions that obviously you have to field that position. You have to put wide receivers on the field, but it's not all that important to the grand scheme of things. Robert Woods is not getting targeted much. Treylon Burks, the rookie, he's not getting targeted much. And I have Ryan Tannehill, 17, 18 completions. That tells you all you need to know. I would be okay. I'm actually kind of endorsing the idea of fading all the Tennessee wide receivers because there's no point to me, at least in this game. And when you look at Nick Westbrook a kind, the biggest trap there is on earth on FanDuel. He's $10,000 on FanDuel. That is point chasing at its finest. Robert Woods, 8.5 on FanDuel, 6.8 on DK, $10 on Yahoo. As it stands now, Robert Woods is the bare minimum price tag on Yahoo. Again, tells you all you need to know. When you look at Nick Westbrook a kind, $13 on Yahoo, yet FanDuel's got him at $12,000, right? Or $10,000, the same as who could we look? Christian Watson is even more money. I mean, it's crazy, the point chasing. And in a way, I feel like FanDuel's trying to, I know it's DFS, but it is still sports gambling, right? It is a sports gambling website. They're roping all of us degenerates in, and I will not stand for putting Nick Westbrook a kind in my FanDuel lineups for $10. Hey, if he scores a touchdown, one touchdown still wouldn't make up for it because it's only like 6 or 7 points. But I digress. Let's talk about the Green Bay Packers wide receivers. We're already at 10 minutes. It happens like, what the heck just happened? When we look at the Green Bay wide receivers, that's the way to attack the slate. Al Nazard, Christian Watkins, Watson, and Sammy Watkins looks to be active as well. Tennessee, 29th overall against opposing wide receivers. Al Lazard, 11.5 on FanDuel, 8.6 on DK, $21 on Yahoo. I have Lazard, 7-8 targets, 4-5 receptions. You know he's going to catch one, 35 to 40 plus yards here. Will it be a touchdown? Fingers crossed that it is. When you look at Christian Watson, again, point chasing at its finest. I'm comparing Watson to Nick Westbrook in the same way where Watson is 10-5. But I will say, if you've gained this guy Aaron Rodgers' trust, he's going to bomb the ball to you a little bit more. He's going to look your way a little bit more often. So this is the game that we see is this connection for real. Is Watson, as a rookie, going to be able to sustain? I think he does to a certain extent, but I have Watson for about 5-6 targets, 3-4 receptions, and about 45 to 50 yards. With Sammy Watkins, 7.5 on FanDuel, 4.8 on DK, and the bare minimum on Yahoo, 3 targets, 2 receptions, 25 yards. When we go down to the tight end position, there's not much going on. Austin Hooper, Chris Owanhuha, At that, Green Bay, again, very tight against tight ends. They're 6th overall. Hooper, 7.5 on FanDuel, DK, 4.6, and $10 on Yahoo. 4 targets, 3 receptions, 25 yards. The point I want to make here, the guy I want to play in this one, it just screams it's late, mid-November, right? Thursday Night Football, Lambeau. It's going to be dark. Dark at like 3 o'clock. It's going to be cold here. When you look at Robert Tonyan, by the way, Tennessee is 24th overall against opposing tight ends. Rob Ton, only $7,000 on FanDuel. Makes sense. 5.8 on DK, and he's $13 on Yahoo. I have Rob Ton, 4 or 5 targets, 2 to 3 receptions, 30 to 35 yards, and a touchdown reception. Anytime Green Bay's been on a single game slate, or anytime Green Bay plays, I feel like I'm just riding that Robert Tonyan wave, waiting for him to score 2-3 touchdowns in a game, so I can say told you so. But I'm running out of time here because I've said that probably 4 or 5 times this season, and it is yet to happen. So as it stands now, I look like a fool. Do as you please. But Robert Tonyan is on my radar. When we look at the kickers, Josh Lambo is playing for the injured Randy Bullock. Not much going on there. I have each kicker, Josh Lambo and Mason Crosby, 2 for 2 extra points for Lambo, 3 for 3 extra points for Mason, and both 1 for 2 with field goals here. I do have about 2 field goals in this game, 1 for Tennessee, 1 for Green Bay, so it's not that big of a deal. If you're like me and you're like, well, this over, it might come in here, not as easily as we think, but if the under comes in, maybe I'm going to want some kicker action. That's all well and good. That's up to you. When we look at the DSTs, there's only one move in this one. That's the Packers, just because, when you look at Tannehill and some of these other inexperienced wide receivers, and not inexperienced per se, but Robert Woods and Treylon Burks is inexperienced. He's a rookie. I could see Ryan Tannehill making a few mistakes, or like the rookie Burks or even Robert Woods try to do too much. Tip up a pass. It's to Green Bay. Does it go for 6 points? We shall see. But to me, the Packers are the move when it comes to the DSTs. When you look at them, $9,000 on FanDuel. On DK, they're $3,800, and on Yahoo, you're looking at $13. I do have 2 to 3 sacks, an interception or 2 for this Packers DST, and that's about it. So before we split recent betting trends and the final score, I have Green Bay to win this one in kind of a, not a snoozer, but I do have Green Bay to win this one 24-17 on the strength of Aaron Jones. Robert Tonyan, I'm set fingers crossed, and we'll go from there. So before I go, a few recent betting trends. The over 4-1 Green Bay's last 5 games following a straight-up win. They won in overtime, so over. Could it be 5-1? Tennessee 4-0 against the spread. Their last 4 games on the road. Green Bay 12-5 against the spread when they play a team with a winning record. Green Bay 6-1-1 their last 8 games on Thursday Night Football against the spread. So they're 6-1-1 last 8 against the spread on Thursday Night Football. The under is 6-0 Tennessee's last 6. So those betting trends don't tell us much. I'm going every way. The overs hit, the unders hit against the spread. So hey, hopefully you can watch this video twice. You can always rewind it if you'd like, and we'll go from there. But to me, my core 3 so far: Derrick Henry, Alan Lazard, and the Green Bay Packers DST. Be good, be safe. I'll see you again for Sunday Night Football or the Sunday morning DFS show right here at Team Rise or Fall. Be good, be safe. Green Bay wins this one at home, and they're going to go on a run. I can feel it in my bones as a Detroit Lions guy. Green Bay wins 24-17. I'll see you next week. Bye.